Welcome in, everybody. Before we get into this morning's update, I want to go over a quick overview of what's going on right now. First, we had Bitcoin come up last night. As we can see, we're at 48,119. We had Bitcoin come up to about 48,650. Is Bitcoin putting in a reversal right now at the top, or do we have enough steam to continue to push out? It's going to tell us a lot right now if we come back down and retest 47,600 area with Bitcoin. So we're going to pay attention to this early morning. We've got XRP came up to the pivot point at 534, and now it's back down under 53 cents. So we're going to see if we're starting to top out here, or if we can continue on for XRP, see what we would need to do to continue up to that next layer, which would be around 56 cents. I'm going to do this update. I'm going to do my due diligence of about 20 minutes or so, and then I've got to get going. I'm going to get out to church at 11 o'clock. So I've got plenty of time to do this. We're going to cover this in detail. We're going to cover this in plenty of length. And by the time this is over, we're going to have a very deep understanding of what's going on here with the technical analysis this morning, because we are a little overextended. So we're going to see if we can continue this rally. We do have the Super Bowl tonight, so there's some interesting details that were coming out about. They were supposed to promote crypto, and now some of those advertisements are off. They've been backed out of. So we're not going to see as much of the crypto tug tonight on the Super Bowl as we were going to. So I'm not sure what all that's about. But we need to take a deep dissection of not just XRP, but Bitcoin this morning to see if Bitcoin's double topped, or if it's topping and if it pulls down here, or if we can continue up to 49,000 level. And then with XRP, we need to see if, now that we hit 53.4 cent pivot point, is that it? Or are we going to get past it and push 56 cents to the top of this descending triangle that we're in right now? We'll find out all that and more shortly. But for now, I'm going to timestamp this. So please make sure to hit that like button so that we can help our odds of YouTube recommending this content and allowing us to grow this community and have a more active discussion. Remember, we do not play the victim here. We play the winner, and we do it with love instead of hate. So help people with the love in your heart instead of the hate. Show the care. So good morning, 9:42 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Sunday, February 11th, 2024. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So let's start with XRP real quick, and then we'll get into Bitcoin. But XRP, we have a golden cross right now on the 2 hourly. We've come back down to the 20-day right now and held. We do have a reversal candle on the 2 hourly, followed up by a pull down a little bit here. So we'll see exactly what XRP's ambition is here. If we take this out into a higher time frame very quickly, let me get to the right chart. We can see that we're in this descending triangle. Right now we're working on a level 1 breakout. So we came up in this little channel. We came up to a head at 534. Now we need to see, are we bullish still? And we're going to take away that channel because now that we've come up to 534. Now we're going to see if we can hold here at around the 524. If we do come down, and if we hold that, that would be a signal that we're holding the level 1 breakout. If we come back within, we could consolidate more. But now that we've hit that pivot point, now we have some, we're going to have to see if we can confirm this move. And if this move is confirmed and we stay bullish out of this and we get back over 534, your next major resistance up here is going to be 56 cents. If XRP fails to hold this level 1 breakout attempt at 524, your underneath target, you have 518 and 508. And if you lose that, then you know you'd be coming back down to retest this area at 49 cents. But right now we are attempting a breakout. This is a level 1 breakout attempt. If we can hold this, we would have a level 1 to level 2, or tier 1 to tier 2. And all that means is we could bounce from the 524 area, and it'd be contingent on pushing past the pivot point of 534 again. But then you'd be looking at upside of about 56 cents. Yes, the relative strength is high, but when you're having a breakout, that relative strength will continue pushing up until we run out of buyers. So one way that I can put this is with XRP right now, there's been no real pickup in volume, and that's disappointing to see on this push up. This almost looks like a a meaningless push up. But we have a lot of upside potential still if we can make this right and we can hold these levels of pivot. Right now, we did not hold the 534 pivot point, but we could just be coming down to consolidate at the 524, which is the breakout layer. So you would have to retest that. So 534 to 524 and then back up would make sense. But it also makes sense that we could top out at 534. So it's going to be an interesting morning. I know I did see some comments yesterday that said that I flip-flop a lot and I would be better off if I just make the stick with the prediction, which I thought was funny because I don't make predictions. I'm just trying to show everybody within a pattern formation the likelihood of where we've hit, the likelihood of what's to come next. I stopped making predictions after I predicted the historic crypto collapse in 2021 for anybody who's been around since then. XRP was at $1.66, and I told everybody it was crashing to 52 cents and then sub 40. And best case scenario, we could get to 12 cents, but we targeted 52 cents first, and then we said we'd buy in sub 40 cents. That was my prediction. I said I wouldn't make predictions anymore. I'll show you the ebb and flows, and then we'll have to make an open and honest decision together. If we have hate in our hearts because of something I've done, obviously we're upset about something that we're not doing ourselves. And if we do this from a standpoint of love, I can help. So pay attention to what I'm saying, but you still must make a rational decision. I'm not here to make a decision for you. I'm not a financial advisor, so it's out of my legality to even do that for you. So we look at that, but Bitcoin right now, this will be our importance right now. Bitcoin, do we continue moving up? Or is this start of a pull down right now? Because we do have a reversal candle, and it doesn't seem likely that we would just continue up until we show some support here on the 20-day, because we are rounding a little bit. And you can see the flows rounding just a tad bit. So 47,650 underneath if we do come back down and retest. The only reason I see that as a strong possibility is that it does look like we're rounding some kind of head here. So unless we can push out, you would try to hold this 47,650 if we want to maintain bullishness. And that's going to tell us everything we need to know, because that is the breakout attempt here in this broadening wedge. This is not expanded. This is a typical This is the typical it came off, but it's a typical broadening wedge, so it's actually a little bit lower. I'm glad that I seen that. 47,400 is where it's going to try to attempt if it does start pushing back down. I knew something seemed right from last night. It didn't seem right. And that would make a better formation too. So 47,400. If we do start reversing, the only reason I say just pay attention is because we did technically start reversing here in the 2 hourly. And now it's a matter of, do we come down below 47,940 and continue pushing down and see if we can hold support. Right now, Bitcoin's at 48,163. It's been a nice little move up this morning. However, we are down on we are down on Bitcoin. Not much though from the top. We rallied, for anybody who's waking up this morning on the Sunday morning, we rallied up to about 48,640 area. So right now we've dumped down only about 500 points. So we'll see. There's definite signs that we could reverse, but we have to take into consideration that if we're going to have a continuation, where these proper levels are that we would hit. So we do know the 47,400 for Bitcoin. And then if it breaks that, we have the 46,354. That's your first pivot area, because that was the cup area that we targeted. It did come up, so are we going to put a bullish handle on the cup from coming way up here? Are we just going to continue parabolically? That's what we're going to watch this morning, and we're going to watch it play out unbiasedly, but with an understanding of the charts in front of us. So just pay attention to these levels I gave out for Bitcoin, because these are going to be the targeted levels if it does come back down. I'd be quite surprised if it doesn't come down for support, to at least garner a little bit of support to push up further if that's the agenda. If that's not the agenda, it's going to be very hard just to pull up without that little bit more broad support. But when you're running parabolically, as long as there's a little bit of interest, you never know. I'm just watching a possible formation of a head right here that can come down. And then this would have played effectively as a left shoulder to a head. So we just erred. This could be an M-topping reversal if it does pull down. So that's why I'm being cautiously optimistic. I'd love to see this continue, as we are all investors in cryptocurrency that are watching this community. I own, it's either 11 or 12 assets between the ISO and IoT tokens, the Internet of Things. So it's going to be an interesting time. So that's Bitcoin. We know everything we need to know about Bitcoin. Now let's take a little bit of focus on XRP. The XRP market cap right now, 28.792 billion. That's a major pivot point. We can see the reversal candle followed by a pull down on the 2 hourly. This doesn't necessarily mean the rally's over. This just means it's going to be very indicative on the next few candles to see where and if we can hold up. If we fall below the 200-day or the 20-day and the 2 hourly, you come down here to 28.32 billion and you retest the 200-day and the 2 hour time frame, and that's the pattern reversal area. If you can hold that and then continue pushing back up, that would signify that we still have enough strength to push. And then eventually, if we did push up, there's an eventual chance that you get all the way back up to 31.8 billion. But there's a long ways to go to get there. A long ways. XRP right now is up 1.07%. And we're going to see if this rally is going to extend very quickly. Very quickly. Because the first layer we're coming up to, it's a lot easier if I just show you my chart. This is where we're looking to hold, ladies and gentlemen. It's all about that 5.2, I want to say 5.24, but it's slightly below that. So 5.23 area. If we can hold that, this would hold the tier 1 breakout, and then it would allow us to expand. So right now we're trying to see if we have enough interest for expansion. If not, we'll go back and do a little distribution, and we would have to come down and see where the most likely areas that people would buy, not just XRP, but Bitcoin. So we're going to see if we expand this morning or we end up start going back into distribution style. And distribution just means that we're going to keep coming down and we're going to see if anybody's willing to buy it. So if it's not bought at 53.4, then we try again at 5.24. If there's not enough interest, we try again at 5.18. And then if there's not enough interest, obviously we go to 5.08, then 4.94, then 4.8, about 48 cents, or 4.82. So that's how we would try to do it, to see where the proper distribution level is for XRP, to see where the price range is, where people would actually come back in and say, oh, this is a great buy, instead of feeling like they're being pushed around a little bit. So that's what I'm looking at. So within this descending triangle, we know if we can come back up and hold this first tier breakout, we have resistance at 5.34, and then over the top, we've got that descending triangle resistance. And this goes back to just about a month or two ago. This formation isn't crazy. It started in the beginning of January of 24. So it's been going on for about a month and a half. And then if we do break up out of this, let's just say we got lucky. Or not lucky, but we gained some steam because there's no luck involved. We gained some steam and we get above 56 cents. That puts you firmly with the rising channel above us at 66 cents. Now don't think that's the first major resistance. We talked yesterday about a short squeeze with XRP. We didn't know if it was ready yet, if we were still bouncing around and maybe have to come to support, or we'd hit a pivot point and then bounce back. I'm glad that at least we've hit that pivot point so that we've satisfied the entirety of this move. We got into the range where we did hit the targeted move yesterday, but now that we hit this pivot point, if we did top out, we at least maximized the move, and we went to the pivot point to tell us, hey, we're still bearish. We hit the pivot level and we couldn't get past it. Or we hit the pivot level, allow us to come back to support at 5.23. And then if we hold that and break out, then we know we're bullish to the top side to 56. Now, would it be bullish after 56? That would be the question when we get up there. But right now, we're trying to see if we have the steam to get up there. That's why we reversed that 5.34. That's why it would make the most sense to continue the reversal to 5.23 area so that we can see if we're bullish still and then allow us to move up from there. So there's a lot of stuff to watch on this Sunday morning. I know the Super Bowl's today, but I'm going to be around a lot today. I wanted to do a nice due diligence here this morning. So I think that gives you a beautiful understanding of the charts from XRP to Bitcoin. So that'll give you an open and honest approach here that you can have this morning, unbiasedly, so that you can make the best educated and informed decision for yourself. And maybe you can help somebody else in the comments who might not have the education you have, and help them if they have a question that even some might find silly, but you have a minute understanding. Don't hesitate to help that person in comments. So while I still have your attention, though, let's look at XRP one more time here. And let's look at it from a volume perspective. Let's go into the daily time frame and see how we're looking on the dailies. We had a nice push up here in today's daily. I'm a bit concerned that the volume continues to trend down. Today we've still got time in today's candle, though. So let's not act like the candle's over yet. So we've got about 9 hours left in this candle. When we started moving up, we had 27.7 million in the daily. The next day we had 22 million. So down a little bit. The next move up, we're down by over half. Today's move up, we're at 7 million. So we have 9 hours left and we're at 7 million. We could make a play today. We could certainly make a play. The one thing is we went up to 5367 and now we're currently sitting at 5304. So if we're going to make a move and a continuation of move, the cool thing about this is the futures opens tonight. So a lot of liquidity, if there is still some to be had and they want this to continue moving up, we would see a bigger move today. But what seems a little ironic here is the fact that Bitcoin's at 48,230 and I'm looking around the board and sure flares up. But when I look around most of the board, to see that there's nothing up 15, 20%, 10%, nothing going nuts, that tells me that there's something not right here. We should be watching some altcoins have some big explosions here to at least show us that we're about to have a bigger rally up. What I'm seeing right now is a little nervousness in the market, like at the altcoins. People should be excited in the altcoins. With XRP, get back to that mindset. If you haven't bought XRP and you're looking to accumulate, even at 50, 53 cents, maybe 53 is a little different because it just had a little push up, so you want to see how it's going to react to support. But there's nothing wrong with accumulating in these levels. If I didn't have XRP, you better believe at 53 cents, I'd be buying it, and then I'd be buying a steady buy every week until I got to my goal. Unless we have a deep dive again where we were able to buy it all wholesale and not have to buy it in stouts like how we bought it at 34. Sure, but at 53 cents, don't cost yourself a good opportunity because you're afraid that it could go down to these levels that it possibly hasn't even hit yet. Or don't be afraid to push into something because it's already moved a little bit. The point is XRP is at 53 cents and not $1.66. You're not spending $16,000 plus to buy 10,000 tokens. It's still 5,300 right now. That's still a big difference. There's still a lot that can be had here. Yes, we're a little overextended in the higher time frames, and I acknowledge we hit the 4-hour, 200-day perfectly, so that's going to force us into a back test. I get that. There's a possibility, though, that there could be volume to come in the next candle. Right now, yes, it's squeezing up, and it would be shocking if it doesn't come back down to hold 523. Just like with Bitcoin, we'll say it one more time. It'd be a bit surprising if Bitcoin doesn't come back down and at least touch this 47,300 at some point. It's not that it'll be surprising, but typically after you have moves like this, that's what happens. But the fact we already hit it once, and if Bitcoin has the ambition to move up, it could. That's why we're watching these 2-hour candles. See if this does end up continuing to push down or if we can start breaking back up. But at some point, I know we're going to have a retest. And then it could be an explosive move to the top side if Bitcoin holds it. That's what's so intriguing about this. If Bitcoin holds this retest, you could have explosivity up to 50K. If Bitcoin doesn't hold this retest, if it happens, then 46,350 underneath is a huge pivot level. If that didn't hold, you could be hunting 45.5 or 44K to retest the bull flag, the initial setup on this push up before expanded out into a broadening wedge. So we're going to see exactly how this pattern plays out. If it does pull down, we could certainly see an M formation. So if we want this rally to continue, it's in our best interest not to lose that support line we talked about on the trend at 47, what is that? 47,300? No, 47,000, yeah, 47,400 area. 350, wherever it decides to hit. So that's what we're going to be dealing with on a push down. And we know XRP, whether it goes up or down, we know the areas of interest, same with Bitcoin. So we'll see how this moves. It's still a thinly traded week until tonight. I know that mostly applies for the stock market, and crypto is at least a 24/7, 365 market, so we don't have to worry about it closing. I appreciate everybody sitting here to watch this update. I got to get going here because I got to get ready for church. I got to leave here in about, give or take, 40 minutes. So I've got a little bit of work to do before I leave. I thank each and every one of you for tuning in. I could not do this without each and every one of you, and it means a lot from the bottom of my heart. If you do appreciate what I do and you want to see this content continue, make sure you consider supporting the channel. Just one time a month is all I ask. Whether you join Tom's Army or you send a YouTube super chat, hit that $sign in the comments. That would it'd be incredibly supportive of each and every one of you. and it will allow me to continue to do this program the way I see fit without doing any paid promotions or advertisements or anything like that. If you're looking to trade crypto, XRP, or your favorite crypto for that matter, video description below, there's a few ways that I trade crypto. Take a look at it so you can pay less spot fees with PHEMEX, MEXC, and or BITUNIX. I use all three. And then I also use Uphold, but Uphold has more fees. So I'm trying to give you options that I use to avoid those fees. Have a great morning, everybody. Hashtag be better, do better. Hashtag FUD Assassins. And remember, help one person each and every day. Because if I don't do my part and you don't do your part, it's going to be a slippery slope. And we simply can't see everything ourselves. Together we're strong. If we're separated and we're alone, it becomes very, very, very difficult.